Hey guys, Andrew Stevens here from the Stevens Golf Academy in Burlington, Kentucky. Wanted to talk to you today about how to hit an effective knockdown shot and then go over some of the benefits of the knockdown shot in terms of controlling our trajectory and also how it's affected by the wind. So the reason I decided to make this video was I had a lesson earlier this morning and the wind today is blowing about 20 miles an hour into our face here. So wanted to work with my student on how to flight that golf ball and control it into the wind a little bit. So kind of go over first a couple of our major benefits here of the knockdown shot. So obviously we're going to control the trajectory here. We're going to bring down the overall flight, and we're going to basically not let the wind affect our yardage as much, and it's also not going to be able to affect our side-to-side dispersion. So kind of the key fundamentals here of the knockdown shot, and you'll see this later when I attach the Trackman portion here, but I'm going to keep a little bit narrower stance. I'm going to put my weight slightly more on my front foot here, and I'm going to take a little bit shorter swing. So those are going to be kind of my three key fundamentals. The other thing that I'm going to kind of add here is I'm going to try to add a little bit of forward shaft lean here to produce a little bit lower dynamic loft and a little bit lower launch angle. So that's going to help that ball knock it up into this headwind that we've got today here. So basically, I'm going to kind of shorten my swing, feel like I make about a 3/4 swing, and then just really try to maintain the bend in this left wrist here. So instead of kind of letting that club work that way, I'm really going to kind of maintain the bend in the left wrist to hopefully produce a little bit of forward shaft lean and bring that flight down. So if I go ahead and demonstrate one here, a little bit narrower stance than my usual, weight's going to be slightly more on my left foot, and then I'm going to take kind of a 3/4 swing and kind of abbreviate the follow through there just a little bit. So that ball flighted significantly lower than my usual flight, and you'll see here in a second with the Trackman analysis why that's beneficial into a wind like this. Okay, so what we'll look at here is the difference between trying to hit kind of a knockdown shot versus a stock shot into about a 15-mile-an-hour wind here. So we're going to kind of compare the two sets of shots and kind of show you what happens with each one and then how it actually affects our distance into the wind. So basically we've got 3 shots here which were pretty much stock driving range swings, not really trying to do anything with it, just hitting a normal shot. So you'll see here average club head speed was 88 miles an hour. Smash factor here was pretty good. Ball speed 121. Launch is probably a little on the high side, but that's okay for this example. Then we look at our carry and our total. So these are unadjusted for wind using good range balls. So we've got 150 carry, 152 total. So obviously not a lot of roll out there, which indicates that ball's coming in from a very high point and coming down. And then we actually look at the height. Ball's 121 feet in the air. Now, adjusted, that certainly would not be as high. In fact, if we do adjust for wind here, you can see that height goes down a little bit. So, but the ball's up there in the air for a long time. A lot of loft on the golf club there at impact at 25 degrees. So all in all, we hit it 150, and it's up there a lot longer into the wind, so the wind's got more time to kind of mess with it. Yeah. So we now look at the knockdown. So, you know, kind of the technique involved with the knockdown was a little bit shorter swing, a little bit, so because it's shorter, a little bit slower. So you can see club head speed dropped almost 3 miles an hour. We put the ball back in our stance a little bit more, which you can see in terms of attack angle actually caused our attack angle to get a little bit steeper. So we were 7 degrees down there. You can see club path stayed pretty similar with both. Big differences you'll see here. Ball speed actually was not too different just because we were de-lofting the second one. So we kind of increased the ball speed that way. But you look at launch angle, we brought launch angle down 4 degrees, and we brought spin down a little bit as well. So what you actually see here is unadjusted into the wind, my ball actually went a lot closer to my normal 7-iron yardage here. So it actually carried 157 versus 150, and then went out to 163. So it's pretty cool to think that actually with a slower swing and less ball speed, I can hit the golf ball further and have more control. And then probably the big thing you'll see here is almost 30 feet difference in height. And actually the last one we hit there was probably the best one. So that was 88 feet in the air, which that's actually a lot closer to kind of a normal peak height here. Now with no wind, that ball's probably only going to be 70 or 75 feet in the air, but with the wind it kind of creates that lift and gets up in the air a little more. So yeah, so simply by kind of trying to flight that golf ball a little bit lower into the wind, you can see we actually don't lose as much distance here. So if we normalize those numbers, you can see normalize those numbers are actually pretty similar. So the yardage there is going to be pretty similar from one swing to the other, but into the wind, the knockdown goes 10 yards farther. So it's definitely a when you've got wind like that, it's a good thing to try to bring that flight down to control the trajectory.